Hello friends, myself Praveen Gore, lecturer Science Department. So in previous lectures we have studied properties of waves. There are few more remaining which we'll study in this lecture. So in previous lecture we have studied Newton Laplace formula which gave us velocity of sound in air. So now we'll be studying what are the factors affecting velocity of sound in air. So there are different factors on which velocity of sound in air depends. So how it increases or how it decreases depending upon temperature, humidity, wind, or else pressure in the medium, that we'll study. Then we have stationary waves and their characteristics. We'll study what are stationary waves, how they are formed, and what are their characteristics. And now finally we have beats and their applications. What is the phenomenon of beats, how does the beat occur, and what are the applications of beats that we'll study. So we'll start with factors affecting velocity of sound in air. So there are various factors. So first we'll see effect of pressure. So according to Boyle's law, we know, according to Boyle's law, what is according to Boyle's law? PV is equal to constant. And this V is nothing but what? Volume. So the product of P into V is always constant, and this volume is nothing but what? Volume is proportional to 1 divided by density. Therefore if PV is equal to constant, then I can say P divided by rho, that is P divided by density is also constant. And we know that velocity of sound in air by Newton's Laplace formula is what? Gamma P divided by rho. V is equal to under root gamma P divided by rho. So this is constant, P divided by rho. So gamma is also constant. Therefore if P is changing, there is no effect on volume, because change in P is compensated by change in V. What is happening? Change in P is compensated by change in rho. So what is happening? According to Boyle's law, P divided by rho is always constant. Therefore pressure has no effect on velocity of sound. Now we have effect of temperature. So according to Newton Laplace formula and Charles law, we get this expression. We come to this conclusion that velocity of a sound is directly proportional to square root of absolute temperature. So this is how the temperature changes velocity of sound, as the square root of absolute temperature. Then what is the effect of humidity? The moisture content in the air. The moisture content present in the air is called as humidity. So what is the effect of humidity? So as the humidity increases, the speed of sound also increases. We all know. So early in the morning we have more humidity, or else late in the night we find humidity to be more. So at that time what happens? The speed of sound is more. So that is what the effect. If the humidity increases, speed also increases. And what is the effect of wind? So it is very general observation that if you are talking, if the sound is in the direction of the wind, then velocity increases obviously, and if it is in the opposite direction, then velocity decreases. So velocity of sound is more in the direction of wind and is less in the opposite direction. This is effect of wind. So we know how the velocity changes depending upon various factors. Now we'll study what are stationary waves. Okay, so first we'll see what is the definition of stationary waves, then we'll look at the diagram. The superposition of two identical waves traveling with same speed but in opposite direction forms the stationary waves. The superposition of two identical waves. Two identical waves in the sense that both the waves have slightly almost same wavelength and same frequency. They have almost same wavelength and same frequency, but the two waves are traveling with same speed, but they are opposite in direction. So if suppose the wave 1 is moving in this direction, the wave 2 will be moving in the opposite direction, and when they superimpose with each other, this structure is formed. So what is happening? The wave represented by blue line is coming in this direction, and wave represented by red line is coming in opposite direction. So when they superpose with each other, they form this structure. And this is called as stationary waves. This structure is called as stationary waves. So what do we have in stationary waves? We have few points in stationary waves, and what is those? We have nodes and antinodes. So point nodes can be seen here, that these points are called nodes where the displacement is 0, where the displacement of the particle is 0, and we have antinodes where displacement of the particle is maximum. Now, what are the characteristics of stationary waves? So, the first characteristic of stationary waves is these waves are localized. They are not moving in any of the direction. They are stationary waves. So, stationary waves, since they are localized, they can be also called as standing waves. Okay. In stationary waves, the disturbance does not travel in any direction. It remains in the particular space in the medium. So within this space only the disturbance is traveling. The disturbance does not go beyond stationary waves. So the disturbance does not travel in any direction. One more proper characteristic of the stationary waves is that these waves may be transverse or longitudinal. The particles of the wave may vibrate perpendicular to the direction of propagation or along the direction of propagation. So these waves, fourth point, these waves consist of nodes and antinodes. We have seen what are nodes, where the displacement is 0, and antinodes, the displacement is maximum. Now, point number 5. The nodes and antinodes are equally spaced. The spacing between nodes and antinodes is equal. The distance between two consecutive nodes or antinodes is lambda divided by 2. So, see here, one wave starts at this point and this wave is completed here. And exactly the halfway we have one antinode and the other antinode. So, this distance is half the wavelength. So wavelength is this, half of it is lambda divided by 2. So wavelength distance between two consecutive nodes or antinodes is lambda divided by 2. The sixth point is there is no net flow of energy in the medium. Energy at one point is flowing from this point to this point, and the same energy is taken back to the same point. So net energy flow is 0 in this case. So these are stationary waves. Now we'll come to the concept of beats. So what is beat? We all know that many of us use headphones, or we have heard Dolby systems wherein we always say is beats are good. Okay, what are beats? So if you pay closer attention to the process of beats, that what happens in beats, at particular intervals of time the intensity of sound increases and decreases. That gives us melodious music, isn't it? So at one point of time intensity of sound is high, at the next moment it is low. Therefore what happens? There is a melodious music. So what is the definition? The periodic rise or fall in the intensity of sound due to the superposition of two sound waves of slightly different frequencies traveling in the same direction is called beats. the periodic rise or fall is taking place. And why is that? Due to superposition of two sound waves of slightly different frequencies traveling in the same direction. So I'll show you the diagram. Pay attention. Here we have wave y1, here we have wave y2. These both waves are identical waves with slightly different frequencies. They are traveling in the same direction. So what happens when they are traveling, when crest of one wave falls on crest of another? Okay, see here, when crest of one wave falls on crest of another, yes, that time we get maximum sound. That time get maximum note. The intensity of sound increases. When crest of one wave falls on trough of another, the sound is zero here. At this point, sound is zero. So at one particular time, the sound is maximum. After some time, the sound becomes zero. After some time, sound again is maximum. So therefore, this is periodic rise and periodic fall in the intensity of sound, due to which we hear beats. So what are the applications of beats? That is important. Applications of beats. Tuning of musical instruments. So tuning of musical instruments is done using the principle of beats. So how does the tuning takes place? So inside studio, if musicians are tuning their instruments, they start a standard source and they tune their musical instrument until the beat is disappeared. Okay, so until the beat is disappeared. If there is change of frequencies, then beat is heard. And a standard source, we want our musical instrument to be standard. So what do? We set it as equal as the standard source. So if there is no change in frequencies, no beat is heard. So when there is no beat, we can say our musical instrument is on standard measurements. Okay, now to find unknown frequency, we use principle of beats, and to find harmful gases in mines. So what do? We take air column. In one air column, we fill pure air, and in another air column, we fill air from mines, and we try to vibrate it using tuning forks. In both the cases, if the length of the air column changes, then we can directly say that harmful gases are present inside mines. If the length does not change, if the resonance is occurring at same lengths in both the cases, then we say the gases present inside mines are as good as gases everywhere. Therefore, there are no harmful gases present in the mines. So with beats, we complete the fourth unit. So go through all the previous lectures and study properly. Thank you.